What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Battle in the Trenches, Week 11 edition, your stardom sit-em at the running back position. Me and Ryan have you covered at the running back position. Find it on Twitter at Bootleg Fantasy. Find me at Steve_CTP. Make sure to check out the website and subscribe to the channel. If you are new, like this video. We really appreciate it. Drop a comment, all your questions below. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and get into these starts and sits at running back, and I will lead us off with DeAndre Swift at Carolina. Wow, we all got a notification last weekend that DeAndre Swift was going to be the starter officially for the Detroit Lions, and oh man, he was. Came out with 140 plus scrimmage yards and a touchdown. That's good for 25 and a half PPR points. Wow, is this guy a RB1 or what? He's going against Carolina this week. He's a top 7 running back this week. No doubt. Put him in your lineup. Don't even think twice. You're starting DeAndre Swift. I'm also starting Damien Harris for the New England Patriots. This guy got a lot of work against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night in that rain game, and maybe the rain had something to do with it, but I think they need to go to that heavy running attack if they want to win football games. So Damien Harris is going to be completely involved for the rest of the season, I think. I don't know if he's going to have 100 yards every single week, but he's going to get his fair share. He didn't really have any catches or targets, I don't think so. Cam Newton's still going to be running the ball, but in this offense, the opportunity, they're going to keep the ball on the ground. The opportunity is key. I like Damien Harris. Going against Houston, their putrid run defense, they are bad. Damien Harris is going to eat. I think he does go over 100 yards again. I think maybe he finds the end zone. So that's going to be a guy you're going to want in your lineup. Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, to start, I love Damien Harris. He's on my fantasy team, and he just runs so hard. It was heartbreaking to see him get hurt 2 weeks ago, but he played this past week like he didn't get hurt at all. So I'm very excited to see what he does. But for me, I'm starting Mike Davis. Christian McCaffrey's out again, and Mike Davis is not Christian McCaffrey. He cannot replace Christian McCaffrey. Curtis Samuel might take some snaps. But Detroit is the second worst run defense in football. It should be a high-scoring game, so the PVR should be there as well. But it sets up for a great game for any running back. So Mike Davis in a plus matchup, I really like him. And I'm starting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. People are starting to sour on him a little bit. I'm not, personally. I think they were trying to feel out Le'Veon Bell, but I don't think the Bell situation's working as well as they hoped it would. I thought he would look better, but he doesn't. He looks like Jets Le'Veon Bell. He's not an effective running back. So I think they need to kind of work their way back to Edwards-Helaire, and I think this is a week to do it. I really do think in a game where the Raiders do play the Chiefs tough, I think you can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire involved in the pass game, and if he has 5 or 6 catches and turns that into 60 yards, has 40 more yards on the ground, finds the end zone, that's a great start. So I'm definitely getting him in my lineups.
Can we go back to Mike Davis for just a second? I kind of want to get a sneak preview on your rankings. Where do you think you'll have Mike Davis in your rankings this week?
The absolute grossest thing right now is trying to rank running backs, because I'll download the list and I'll see the names that are in the top 12, and usually they sneak David Montgomery in at 12 or 13, and Kenyon Drake at 14. So I think Davis has to be a top 10 option, but it's not saying a whole lot. I think Zeke is in that same area with Davis.
Here, let me throw you a little comparison. A guy who's kind of been struggling and not really returning for fantasy overs is a guy like Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. Going against Indianapolis this week, who do you like better, Aaron Jones or Mike Davis?
Dude, I feel like maybe it's a bias for me because I love Aaron Jones. I could rave about Aaron Jones. He's a smash start every single week. I still think I'd go Aaron Jones over Mike Davis, but that matchup for Davis makes me feel like he's got a safer, easier play, where Aaron Jones, you get your favorite team in line, because it's just so frustrating to see that rotation. I mean, Mike Davis is the clear-cut number 1 with McCaffrey out, but oh God.
Yeah, well, we won't get into it. I just want to ask that question. I think it's
disgusting.
It's a big name versus a little name who's done really well, but it is a real conversation this week.
You're now talking me talking through it. makes me think that like it's Mike Davis over Aaron Jones, but like I don't want to do that just as a fantasy player. Like I want my studs in the lineup, and Mike Davis doesn't exactly scream
Yeah.
stud to me, but it's a plus matchup, so I feel like Davis would be the play. I hate that you asked that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's for the people. It's for the people. Let's move on to the sit-em running backs. I'm sitting the Rams running backs. I told you to sit Darrell Henderson last week, and it was the right call. He didn't have a good game. Malcolm Brown had a good game, but I'm attacking both of them this week, and I'm telling you to sit them against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay does have a really good run defense, and I think the Rams are going to have to throw the ball to get a W in this game. I think Tampa Bay is going to be coming out running, but that doesn't really help my next sit running back, who is Leonard Fournette. I'll kind of talk about all these guys in tandem. I don't think this is going to be a great running game for either team. I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it's going to kind of hit the under of whatever the total is. I don't see a lot of really big offensive shootouts in this game. And because of that, I don't really like the running backs in it. I think it's going to be a couple chunks here and there. It's not going to be a huge shootout. So I don't like Leonard Fournette this week, especially with Ronald Jones doing what he did last week. Certainly had that 98-yarder, which really boosted his stats. But Leonard Fournette, how do you trust either of these running backs? You're going to play against guys who have Ronald Jones in their lineup, and they're probably going to get a dud week, and maybe it's Leonard Fournette's week. And I don't want to play the guessing game. At this point, when I'm trying to get W's in fantasy football, I want the most points in my lineup every single week, and I can't play the guessing game. If I have someone else who's got a firm 10 points, I'm going to start him. You might not have a choice. You might have to start Leonard Fournette. But I don't know how you can feel confident going against the Rams, who's playing a lot better defense lately, so I don't like them. And like I mentioned, the Rams running backs, it's another tough room to figure out. They brought Cam Akers on the field a lot more this week. You mix him into it. How do you choose one? How do you choose Cam Akers? How do you choose Malcolm Brown? Malcolm Brown is not going to score another 2 touchdowns the rest of the season. He had his big week 1, which he always has, and then he has another game where he scores 2 touchdowns. You can't predict that either. You're going to be chasing points if you start Malcolm Brown in your lineup. It's too hard to figure out. I stay away from these backfields. I don't want guys on my team that are on these teams. Darrell Henderson was good for a little while, but I don't like them. I don't trust these guys this week. Who you sitting?
Yeah, well, to piggyback on that, like going into the year, I felt like Cam Akers was going to win that job, and he just hasn't yet. Mm-hmm. But he looks explosive when he gets the ball, but they don't commit to him. And McVay's on the record saying he has to learn kind of more nuances that he doesn't understand about just the general game in the NFL. And it's interesting to me because Malcolm Brown's going to be the guy that takes the snaps where Sean McVay doesn't trust Cam Akers. I don't understand that entire offense. For some odd reason, they look great or they're terrible. And I'm completely with you on Leonard Fournette. I've been so out on the Tampa Bay Bucs backfield. I told you to sit both of them last week. And of course, Ronald Jones breaks off a 98-yarder. My man was running in quicksand and no one could catch him. And my immediate sit was just out the window from a 98-yard rush. It was disgusting. But this week, I'm sitting Todd Gurley, another guy who's been running in quicksand. He's going against New Orleans, who have the second best run defense in the league. The last 3 games, he's averaging 2.7 yards a carry. He's only getting saved by touchdowns. I don't expect him to score 2 touchdowns this week. So even if he scores 1 touchdown, he's not a great start for you. He just hasn't been able to get it going on the ground. I don't know what's going on with him. Could be a pile of injuries that we don't know about because apparently they don't tell you about Todd Gurley's injuries. So I'm not playing him. And I'm sitting Melvin Gordon. I feel bad for Denver for thinking that this was going to be a great signing. He's got 90 yards in the last 3 games, and for some odd reason, Drew Lock just loves throwing the football. He's not a great quarterback, but for some odd reason, they're dialing it up. I don't understand why they can't just get back to some type of basics. They got absolutely thrashed last week. So I think Philip Lindsay's a better running back play than Melvin Gordon. I've always kind of thought that. I just think that offense right now is putrid. They don't really have a feel to what they want to do. So Melvin Gordon, do not put him anywhere near your lineups. And Todd Gurley, just slow and old at like the age of 25. So
yeah, that Denver's another one of those backfields. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm out, and they're playing Miami. Like I said, good defense out of nowhere. So I don't like that matchup. Well, there you have it. Your starts and sits at running back. We hope you really enjoyed the video. Drop a comment of all your start, sit, questions. We will answer every single one. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. And make sure to check out the quarterback tight end video or the wide receiver video for starts and sits on those positions. And next week, we will see you again. Get some W's, guys. Peace.